Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so you can start reading.
Start on that side and go around. Who's got the mic?
What page in your book?
Who's got the mic? Where's the second mic?
You saw it, right?
What's the page number?
The page number here and there is different.
Yeah, I got it.
I think it's like 9 and 9.
You just saw it on my book. You just opened and saw it.
I thought we were at the end of a section. What's the first line start with?
Now they have the other day in the paper that India exploded the first atomic bomb.
What's this, the heading for the chapter? No,
Petroleum versus ox power.
Ox power?
Petroleum versus ox power.
We're at the beginning of that section?
No, that's the section. Right here, page 100.
What is PDF?
Yeah, 109 on the PDF.
Bhagavan, now they have the other day in the paper that India exploded its first atomic bomb. Prabhupada, yes, and therefore yet it has become...
Turned up.
It's on. Okay. I'll start again. Bhagavan, now they have the other day in the paper that India exploded its first atomic bomb. Prabhupada, yes, and therefore yet it has become very great. Yogeshwara, now it's in the top 6, Prabhupada, but there is no food. Never mind, you starve, but you get at atom bomb, that's all. This is civilization. There was a cartoon, somebody approached some politician and he said, yes, I know there is a food problem, so I cannot say what can I do for you, but from next week you will have television. This is their program. From next week you'll have television, as if television will minimize my hunger. This is civilization. Hare Krishna. So you ask problem, I will answer. Your energy, problem of energy, petrol, it will be automatically solved. If we are localized, there's no question of petrol. Bhagavan, you say in I think it's the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that by doing so, drilling into the earth, they actually disturb the rotation of the earth. Prabhupada, yes, we can think like that. Just like the airplane is flying, there is sufficient petrol stock, is it not? So the world has got sufficient petrol stock. If you do not know how it is being used, maybe due to this petrol, it is floating. And if you take away the petrol stock, it may drop. Everything is there. There is a purpose. Purnam idam. Shri Ishopanishad invocation. The personality of God is perfect and complete. And because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. There is full purpose. Not that whimsically petrol is there within the earth. There is some purpose. Devotee, what they do, Srila Prabhupada, is take the petrol out and put salt water, because they know that there can be an imbalance, and then they put salt water in the holes. Prabhupada, but water cannot produce gas. Petrol produces gas. Maybe due to that gas it is floating, because we've got practical experience. When there is gas, you can float anything. Dhananjaya, like a balloon. Should I keep going?
Prabhupada, yes. Bhagavan, there is another big problem that now all the opposing countries have built up excess amount of atomic weapons, all pointed at each other. So now they are trying to have a big planning conference how to diminish all these weapons. Prabhupada, if there is no opposite elements, there is no need of weapons. If I am not your enemy, there is no fear. We are preaching this philosophy. Brahmabhuta prasanna atma. As soon as you become Krishna conscious, you become jubilant. Bhagavad Gita 18.54. So where is your enemy? Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. Bhagavad Gita 18.54. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. Then where is your enemy? Formerly a man might have become enemy of another man. But this demoniac civilization has created nation to nation, country to country, community to community, all enemies. And on account of this communistic enemy, so many innocent people are killed. I've seen in Calcutta, during the partition days, so many innocent Hindus and Muslims were killed. Very quickly, this communistic feeling is aroused, and they fight like cats and dogs. Oh, here's another dog. Here's another dog coming from another neighborhood. So this is demoniac civilization. If you want to go to some country, you have to take visa, permission, this, that, so many. Why? Vedic civilization is you come to my country, welcome, you're my guest. Grihe shatrum api praptam vishvastam akut o bhayam. Even one is enemy when he comes to my house, he is my honorable guest. And here, they are so much afraid that you keep dogs. The dog is kept here. Loud truck noise.
Bhagavan. Prabhupada, I think we better go somewhere else. There's too many cars here. Prabhupada. Yes, this isn't a place for walking. Yogeshwara. All the major nations of the world have these atomic weapons, constitute very great storehouses for them. So what will they do with all these things? So what should they do with all these things? Prabhupada, they should throw. I throw upon you, you throw upon me, you go to hell, I go to hell, that's all. This will be the result. And the world will be cleansed of all these rascals, this will be the result. Bhagavan, in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, you say that even the atomic bombs can be used in Krishna's service. Prabhupada, it will be used by nature. Prakritev kriyamanani gunaif karma. Prakritev kriyamanani gunaif karmani. Bhagavad Gita 3.27. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. He is thinking that I am the proprietor of this atomic bomb, but he does not know that the other's atomic bomb will kill me. And my atomic bomb, my atomic bomb, I will kill him. That's all. He does not know that. He is thinking, I am very proud of possessing. But that will be the cause of his death. Yogeshwara. Is such an atomic war foretold in Bhag? Prabhupada, yes. Next war means atomic war. All these rascals will be killed off automatically. I will kill you, you'll kill me, that's all. Yogeshwara. Is that war to occur in the recent future, or is that a long way off? Prabhupada, very recent future. This communist and capitalist mentality will bring the next. The communists will be victorious. Dhananjaya. And after the war, what will be the result? Prabhupada, after the war, there will come dissents. The communist problem. Communist is not a problem. It is a good proposal, but they are missing the one point. They are making Lenin the leader. If they make Krishna the leader, then the communistic idea will be very fruitful. They are picking up a rascal leader, but if they pick up the nice leader, God, the supreme dictator, then everything is all right. They are catching up a dictator, but they do not know that he is rascal number one. But if he catches the Supreme Lord as dictator, as Krishna says, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. Then he will be happy immediately. Keep amongst yourself and produce. Produce food grain, produce cotton, mustard seed. Self-depend, no use. And we don't require motor car. Bullock car is sufficient. There's no need of going anywhere.
Here, so Prabhupada predicts that the communist and capitalist mentality will bring the next world war. It's still like that in the world today. Even though technically Russia is actually a democracy now, it's not a communist country like the former Soviet Union. The main thing about Russia or China, which the United States is very much against, is that there is this one particular leader, and he's been the leader. And it's just like if it's Russia, it's Putin, or if it's China, Xi Jinping. So, Everybody's trying to fight and trying to become the world leader. Why? Because everybody is trying to ape the Western civilization, which is actually a civilization of wastefulness and overexploitation and unsustainability with Mother Nature. The Western civilization exists because there are a number of people in the world who are exploited even today. It's what happens to all the trash in America? Where does it go? It goes to countries that America doesn't want to talk about because they don't want to put it in their country. Go dump it somewhere else. All these different, especially the raw ingredients for a lot of the electric cars, there's cobalt, for instance. Cobalt is mined in Congo. And child labor. So the Western civilization, this form of civilization, is actually an exploitative civilization. And because it's actually unsustainable for the whole world to have such a civilization, there is the exploited and those who are exploiting. And among those who are exploiting, because the Western civilization goes around policing the whole world, saying that they're superior because of the way they live life, and coach and train people with the education that they should become like them. Then when actually they become like them, they become upset and start to suppress them. This is what you were seeing mainly especially with China, and countries like that if they are not obedient vassals of the Western world, or if they say, well, why only can you be like that? We'll also be like that. And they start to try to gain access to the exploitation. They also want to exploit. And that's what's happening. That's this whole mentality that with China, everybody's fighting over Africa and other places, the Panama Canal or whatever. And why? Because they're like cats and dogs. It's the same thing. Because if they're dogs, the dogs are not, they want to control as much space as they can and as many she-dogs as they can. It's not enough. It doesn't matter whether they can have sex with all of them at the same time. It's just if another dog comes in there, another boss comes in there, they're going to get angry. And the other dogs become envious of this big dog, and there's always a constant there's always a constant effort to fight and overthrow, and at some point of time the dog will get overthrown because they become old. And then the younger, stronger dogs throw them out, and then they just go around wandering or whatever. So this is the mentality that's there in the world, even today. And Srila Prabhupada, as it can be seen here, sometimes Srila Prabhupada supports communism, other times he doesn't. It's very interesting. And it's very interesting because there are many devotees today who swing on both sides of this, being influenced by politics. And those who claim that Srila Prabhupada did like communism and socialism, and those who say Prabhupada hated communism, hated socialism, to the extent that basically there's one falls on the right wing, the other falls on the left wing of today's politics, especially in North America. But both are wrong, because Srila Prabhupada, we actually like the fact that in capitalist countries you're allowed to practice religion freely versus communist countries. On the other hand, Srila Prabhupada did appreciate that the communists wanted to regulate everything and not allow over-exploitation of resources by any one kind of people. So Prabhupada Vedic civilization actually takes, just like, it's the same thing. It's just you can't really support the Democrats, you can't really support the Republicans. Something good here, something good there, something bad there, something bad there. And it's the same thing with all these modern ideas that neither communism nor capitalism is good. The way to solve communism is to make Krishna the center. How do you solve capitalism? You solve capitalism by removing the exploitative tendency, by respect for brahmanas, and having Kshatriyas in power, and more or less establishing communistic principles within capitalism. That's pretty much what it is. You will see this. You'll see this is what Prabhupada he talks about. And so devotees who don't actually understand this, then they pick this, cherry pick this, and anyways, then they go and attend all kinds of rallies. And I was recently with a devotee and said, Prabhupada hated communism. He was for freedom. And, people are fighting against the vaccine. We should support it. What's wrong with this con? Anyways, and yeah, that's a comment there. Another comment about this petroleum thing is actually Prabhupada truly believed what he was saying. That he said, because it's, for a so-called scientific person, this would almost be laughable. And Prabhupada is saying that just like you put oil in a plane and it flies, similarly there's oil in the earth and therefore it's floating. And Prabhupada is saying maybe it's producing gas and this and that. And it sounds like a very uneducated, sounds like, you guys follow this kind of a person. It's like, are you serious? But it comes from the point that when one is Krishna conscious, one understands that things aren't placed randomly and there's a purpose for everything. Scientists may not understand what's the purpose of all these different species that exist in the world. We do. What is the purpose?
To facilitate different desires of everyone.
That's it. It's to facilitate the different desires. We may not know the exact desires. We don't care to know about the exact desires. What's the point? What's the exact desire between a yellow spider and whatever red-looking one or whatever? Who cares? It's some kind of material desire that's all pointless ultimately. So, similarly, Srila Prabhupada makes the point, is this thing that's found deep underneath the earth, it must have been put there because there's a purpose. We don't understand the purpose, but we know that nothing is created by chance. Therefore, in Vedic culture, even with animals, this is there in the Western civilization. One of the reasons why so many species went extinct is because they thought, what's the use of this thing? And they just thought, this animal is basically useless, so let's just go and kill all of it. Shoot all and kill all of it. And they shoot and kill all of it. Later they realize, it was actually a very important part of the ecosystem. They're no proper, even their so-called religion, it's very incomplete. They have no conception of, they talk God's beautiful earth, God's great creation. They have no understanding of even the creation. What to speak of God? And no appreciation, no understanding, because they think this world has been created for them to enjoy. And whatever they dream of is the blessing of God for them to enjoy. Whatever silly kind of enjoyment they dream of. It's like one Christian, he's experiencing Jesus, whatever, while riding on him, or like playing football or something. Why? Because they think that God has created this world for them to enjoy. As long as they think of God in the middle of their enjoyment, that must be God's mercy. That's it. It's just their very, very mundane conception. So, whereas in Vedic culture, you're not even allowed to cut down a useful tree. If you cut down a useful tree, it's sinful. You may not have any use for it. Doesn't mean you can cut it down. It has its use. You don't cut down any tree unless it really needs to be cut down. You have and trees that are especially trees that give fruits, are useful like that, medicinal trees and this, you should not cut down. It's considered sinful. This is how respectful Vedic culture is to Krishna. And you will get chastised by the king if you do these kind of activities. So that's communism. This is an aspect of your life that's controlled. It's my property, it's my land, I can do whatever the hell I want with it. No, you can't. Prabhupada wanted, for instance, he wanted Ekadasi instituted. What is that? If the government starts controlling your diet, what is that? It's communism. You read Mood and Mission of Srila Prabhupada. His statements in there that ISKCON would never like, some of the leaders would never like to talk about it. Prabhupada said, if we get control of the government, we'll point a gun at people's head and say, if you don't chant Hare Krishna, we'll shoot you. What is that? It's communism, but Krishna is in the center. And it's in bewildering. It's like, oh, we're not supposed to force Krishna consciousness. Well, people are debating about whether they should force their child to chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada is talking about taking control of the government and making adults force them to chant Hare Krishna at the risk of their life. So, yeah. So actually, Vedic civilization is a combination or basically, communism has, or capitalism has its benefits because it's taken some portions of Vedic ideas and has it. That's all. And of course, it's convoluted. It's not that Vedic civilization is actually a combination of communism and capitalism. These ideas actually come from Vedic culture, but they have been separated from it, and therefore everything is lost. So, yeah, and you can in this whole thing actually, Prabhupada, this is probably the third or maybe fourth time Prabhupada is saying about bullock cart, riding on a bullock cart. Okay, continue reading.
Can I ask a question now, or is it later?
Yeah.
So,
Some water.
working? Where Prabhupada made this statement in the last paragraph, he says, produce food grain, produce cotton, mustard, seed, self-dependent, no use. This chapter is entitled Petrol and, was it versus Ox Power? It seems to me like when Prabhupada makes these statements like, chant Hare Krishna, grow your own food, the civilization is going to collapse. It seems like a person could think that Prabhupada's statements are like a or what are these things you like to, like Prabhupada's statements are like a conspiracy theory, like, the civilization's not actually going to collapse, but we could see like
Become doomsday preppers.
Yeah, and then they neglect the instruction of the Acharya. But I mean, when the petrol runs out, the whole system is based on transportation. So whenever it does run out, the stores are going to be raided within like a day or two, and all the food is going to be stripped from the shelves. I mean, you saw that in New York during COVID, how so it's like, but the civilization can't be so stupid to where they don't have some sort of idea that okay, with the petrol, the resources that we're using are eventually going to
Well, the thing is, actually they're developing electric cars when there's actually not much of a need. They have a lot of oil still in this world, like a lot of oil. They're just discovering more and more of it. There's tons of oil. But they are going towards electric cars to reduce their dependency on oil. Actually, all the electric cars are produced with oil, but still it reduces dependency. Why? You can make more money. And also, They're intelligent. These demons are intelligent. They will diversify. Actually, I think Bhakti Vikas Maharaj said this in a class. He said, the demons are not going to give up their demoniac civilization that easily. It's not going to suddenly revert to like the Stone Ages or something. It's not going to happen like that. Yet, it is a fact that it will become increasingly difficult. Things are become more difficult to obtain. More wealthy people can obtain. You have to work harder for it. That we are seeing already. And they're trying to figure out what to do about it. It won't collapse immediately. But when war, serious war happens, people will realize the limitations of the civilization that they've depended on so much. Just like post-COVID, there's been a lot of interest in farming and agriculture and things like that. Why? Because it's undeniable that many people, they saw how fragile the entire system is. And it's also a fact that post-COVID, everything has become harder, more difficult. Prices of things have gone up. Cost of living has gone up. People are having to work harder for the same amenities that they enjoyed previously. So that's what happens, is that with every progression, things become harder and more difficult. So that'll push people towards this. And eventually, there might be a time where these things are more of a luxury than something that's available more commonly. And that's when actually even devotee communities might be more or less self-dependent at that time, because that would sort of be a norm in society, because products that are otherwise very easily available today aren't so easily available anymore. They are available, they're probably very expensive, more rarely obtained. Then people won't complain to live simply. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So I'm just wondering what you would say. So like some of the, like looking at like analyzing like whatever democracy and communism like forcing people to do things. Like what would be the difference of that between like a dictatorship? Because generally like it's understood in the West that like, a dictator like uses force to like, whatever, execute.
It's a very unpleasant thought, therefore. The fact that Guru Maharaj put it in the modern mission is that
Yeah.
it's quite controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite controversial because of this. And therefore, there are other statements of Prabhupada. He said, we don't force people with Krishna consciousness. We don't force them to chant Hare Krishna. He says, every living entity is an individual, free living entity. How can you force? Those statements also. You put two and two together. The thing is, when Prabhupada was actually hopeful of his followers becoming pure devotees, to the extent that there would be such a monarch who was a Raja Rishi, a pure devotee, and was very strong in forcing these kind of values while maintaining high personal character. It feels impossible today, but one thing I did see in the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada is Prabhupada was extremely hopeful of his followers, and Prabhupada would, almost like nothing could dampen Srila Prabhupada's enthusiasm to make the entire world into Vaikuntha. He actually wanted this. He wanted, I'm going through the section on festivals. Bro, festival every day. He wanted 2 festivals every month, 24 festivals a year. And then there's statements where he's saying we should have festival every day. And he talks about how prasadam distribution should get done on a huge mass scale, very regularly, and all these kind of things. And you think, wow, devotees could be that surrendered to actually do all of this? But Prabhupada was like, why not? If you're Krishna conscious, why would you not do these things?
I was thinking too, just a comment. With Maharaj Parikshit, when he saw Kali, like, butchering the cow and the bull.
He wanted to kill him.
Huh?
He wanted to kill him.
Yeah, but there wasn't like, oh, like, hold up, let me contact, like, make sure I can do this, or like, there was no, like, he had the
No,
authority
he's
to like
the,
act.
He's the king.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he likes.
Whereas nowadays it's like,
No.
Every
Nowadays
leader is-
nobody can do anything
Yeah.
themselves. It's like,
there's no absolute authority.
there is in times of war.
Yeah, but then
that's why they like war.
there's war crimes afterwards if your
Yeah,
party
there's war
loses.
crimes. But anyways, they hope they can get away with that.
One thing Prabhupada indicates in that whole conversation and things, a lot of it was with Tamal Krishna Maharaj and a few other devotees, but it indicates that I can't speak of so many things
I
now.
don't think it's on.
Huh? I think the battery died. So it indicates that right now I can't speak of so many things because they'll come after me.
Yeah.
But we shall see after we take over. Then I can discuss what we shall do.
Yeah.
You'll have to wait and see. So indicating that it wouldn't just be okay. Everyone's free to do what they like, and they can take up Krishna consciousness by inspiration. There is an indication.
You can't
that-
kill the cow. You
Yeah.
kill the cow, you get killed.
Yeah.
This is serious stuff because we were discussing with Bhakti Vikas Maharaj this morning about one of the properties we're looking at, unfortunately. It has a slaughterhouse on it. And active slaughterhouse. But location is good, size is good, the guy's willing to do seller financing. Anyways, like this, some criteria is there. So yes, it's a very tough thing. It was tough. You think of how would you even consider it? But the thing is, there's actually hardly anything out there, and it's to match everything. And then this one thing is there, and then you could think, well, what if we're not going to do it? What if we just raise the place down and then somehow purify it or whatever? And what was Maharaj's reply? Maharaj's reply is, yeah, you can do that, but there will be some tamas influence for some time. And he gave the example of the Bhaktivedanta manor. That the Bhaktivedanta manor was, what was it?
I think it was like
Is a funeral home?
something like
Old
that.
people would go to die there.
Was it an old age home or a funeral home or something like
I
that?
think they call that hospice. Yeah,
Oh, it was a hospice. Okay, yeah, so people would go there and die. So it was a hospice, and Guru Maharaj said that even when he had joined, there were plenty of ghosts there. But now there are no ghosts. Because it takes a while, and eventually they go away. So he said the same thing. I don't know who's going to be there. At a slaughterhouse, what will be there, but there'll be some kind of tamas influence. So why am I mentioning this? Is because,
What is it? A goat and cows, right? That's what they do.
yeah, it's mainly the cow that's the issue. So what's the point I'm making is that how much sinful activities pollute and contaminate a place, and how that actually carries over and influences people who actually don't have any relation directly to the activity that was done, but it has an influence in the consciousness and in the overall well-being of that place altogether. And this is there in Shastra. So if we are Krishna conscious and we control a certain tract of land, it is our duty to ensure that very heavy sinful activities are not permitted on such land. because it will have its influence. And so, no, we don't accept with this idea that, oh, you can do whatever you like. It's helpful, no doubt, that we are allowed to practice Krishna consciousness because of that. And sometimes, well, you couldn't be Krishna conscious if they didn't allow that. So why are you trying to prevent it? Yeah, because we're doing the right thing. But everybody else is bogus whether you agree to it or not. And so, if we do get an opportunity, we should prevent sinful activities such as abortions and things like this. They have to be stopped. So, yeah.
About Prabhupada's comment, of putting a gun to someone's head and forcing them to chant Hare Krishna. It's very extreme. There's also the fact of Varnashram, the civilization. It's headed by Brahmanas, Kshatriyas who are spiritually situated, but then there are also those who are part of the overall society, maybe like slightly outside the outskirts of the community that
Sure.
that aren't following properly, but still they're like for instance, like goat herders or sheep herders. Sorry, not goat herders. Sheep herders, and they have dogs. So there are people that intimately associate with dogs.
So?
There are people like that have
So what's the
that
question?
position in the society that
Okay.
aren't well spiritually situated, but they're still allowed.
Sure, so?
So I'm just like, it just seems to
They're not
conflict
saying they'll
with.
put a gun to you, you don't take Diksha. You just have to chant Hare Krishna.
Okay. So it's just, yeah. Everybody's got to be I guess
It
the
doesn't
point
mean
is
that there
everybody
aren't
should be
meat eaters.
favorable.
But, there's going to be times where they want you to chant Hare Krishna, you chant Hare Krishna.
And I guess that just establishes the authority of the spiritual.
Not just that, it purifies everyone.
Yeah.
And so there's instituted purification by the government, whether you like it or not.
It's like taxes.
So the instituted purification. You
gotta pay. You don't go to jail.
one point is instituted purification that is done for the benefit of the entire population. The entire population must engage in yajna. They may not be pure devotees, they're not taking diksha, they're not following everything, but they must engage in yajna. And so everybody must participate to some degree in Sankirtan. That's the point.
One aspect about it is that because it is a Vedic sacrifice, it is naturally pleasing to the civilization, to the performers, and those. So we see that in traditional society also, that it was instituted, but it was upon the householder to carry that out themselves with some level of.
Yeah, but there were also statewide things that were done where the entire population or people would participate.
Yeah.
So, and that was like instituted. There was one good example of this is Kulashekar Alvar. He instituted that at this time everybody has to hear Ramayana. And if you didn't hear Ramayana at that time, you finished. So this is in Kali Yuga. What was the punishment? What was the punishment?
I don't know.
It's Prabhupada states this. I forgot what the punishment was. I'm not sure. I don't know, but you'd be severely punished. That much. I don't know if you're going to be killed, but I don't remember where. I'll send you the reference. Prabhupada says this. It's well known among the Sri Vaishnavas also. That all the activities in the kingdom were stopped at that time. Everybody had to hear Ramayana. And there was state-organized different places where the Ramayana was being recited, and everybody had to go. Shops would be closed, everything would be closed. The guards would be walking around. If anybody did anything else other than reading Ramayana at that time,
They do this now in Muslim countries,
at
actually.
Namas.
They
Namas. Yeah, in Muslim countries, like I was in Kuwait, and this was during the Ramadan fast. And you can't eat outside. All the shops are closed. You cannot eat outside. those who are non-Muslims are allowed to cook and eat inside their house. But even if they bring it to their workplace and eat, and another Muslim sees them, they could get caught by the police. You can call the police on those people. That he's eating in front of me and ruining my fast. So it's there in Muslim countries today. I know the Western people don't like to talk about that.
And then, one thing too, even in the West also, I think everybody here had to do that, remembers that. But even in the schools, there's a specific time set where you have to offer your Pledge of Allegiance to like the American like flag and democracy, everything.
Oh, it's there in school?
Yeah, and then there's a whole, you sing like the national anthem, and then there's a certain like whatever, I don't want to say like mantra, but there's like a certain speech that you say that you pledge your allegiance to the flag of
Every
the United
day?
States of America. Yeah, every day at school.
Oh.
There's a certain time, and if you, at least when I was growing up, if you didn't do that, that was like that was a problem. Like you had to get up from your seat, stand up, put your hand to the heart, and like so there'd be like whatever, a television. The flag would be there, it'd have the words, and you like offered your allegiance. Yeah, the whole school, every single day.
In India, it was done once a week.
Yeah,
But I mean, it wasn't.
but anyways, but also
Canada also?
Right now in India it's every day. I went
Oh, in India, it's every day. What about Canada?
Canada it's every day.
Every day.
So
Okay. Anything from the mothers? No. You had something?
Yes, bro. In this regard, I was listening to a morning walk, Srila Prabhupada, and this subject about forcing people. Prabhupada was making the point that his when he was a child, his father was very lenient, and if he didn't want to go to school, his father wouldn't bother him about it. But his mother would force him to go to school, although he didn't want to. But ultimately, it was good for him. So in that regard, Prabhupada himself is saying that, forcing is good, and if it's for the ultimate benefit. But also they were saying, as far as like Krishna conscious leaders, like monarchs ruling, some disciples were putting forth the question that will other people be able to practice their religions in such a monarchical system? And Prabhupada was like, yeah, there's no problem about that. But then they're like, well, Prabhupada, there's certain religions, that allow eating meat. And he said, well, that must be rectified. It's the duty of the king to, kick these things out. That is not real religion, actually.
Yeah, it's the exact details. There's it can be a lot up for discussion, but the point is that it isn't total freedom. There's actual regulation-based guidance based on Shastra, and it's instituted. And so okay, I guess we'll read something from the book Gomata. Okay, so this is chapter 15. Kacha counteracts Brahmanas cursed. The fight between demons and demigods has been going on from time immemorial. Once, long ago, because of the demons' knowledge of Mrita Sanjeevini Vidya, knowledge of reviving the dead, their power became insurmountable to the demigods. Their spiritual preceptor, Shukracharya, knew this art. Whomsoever the demons killed in the battle, Shukracharya, with the help of this knowledge, revived them back to life. Anybody remembers where this is from? Eighth canto. What's going on? Before.
It was a great war. It was war that heavenly planets.
both before and after. They fought before.
They fought before and after, but one of the reasons why the truce had to be done was because of this. So, and then same thing happens when Indra sees Bali come at his doorstep. It's a beautiful, I like that painting a lot. It's like Indra is like shocked, and Bali is there blowing the conch. It's like army people for as far as the eye goes. You seen that? Yeah, he came back, yeah. And Indra is like stunned, is shocked. I thought I killed this guy. And I was like, what the heck? So, seeing this, the demigods approached the eldest son of Brihaspati, Kacha. Brihaspati is the spiritual preceptor of the demigods. The demigods, headed by Indra, begged Kacha to become the student of Shukracharya and learn the art. Thus, they thought it would help the demigods face the demons in future. The son of Brihaspati, thus solicited by the demigods, went to Shukracharya and humbly bowed down and prayed to be accepted as his disciple. He said, O Gurudev, I am the grandson of the sage Angirasa and the son of Brihaspati. By name I am known as Kacha. I shall practice brahmacharya for 8,000 years under your guidance. Accepting the vow, the young Kacha showed high regards for both his guru and for his daughter Devayani. Kacha was young and handsome. Seeing him sing, dance, and play on different kinds of instruments, Devayani, who herself was in her youth, soon developed an attraction towards Kacha. 500 years of Kacha's vow had passed. The demons had come to learn of his intention. Being demons, they had no compunction in slaying a Brahmana. One day, the demons saw Kacha in a solitary place in the woods, engaged in tending his spiritual master's cows. Taking the opportunity, they killed Kacha due to their hatred for Brihaspati and also because of their desire to protect the knowledge of reviving the dead from being conveyed to the demigods. Having killed him, they cut his body into pieces and threw it to be devoured by jackals and wolves. Meantime, the cows returned to the hermitage without Kacha. Devayani, seeing the cows return from the woods without Kacha, became disturbed and lamented that she will not live without him. Shukracharya saw all that had happened with his yogic vision. He took recourse to the science of reviving the dead and summoned Kacha. Kacha appeared before him, tearing the bodies of the wolves that had devoured him. Kacha recounted how demons took him by force and killed him. On another occasion, asked by Devayani, Kacha went into the woods. As he was gathering flowers, the demons spotted him. They again slew him, and this time pounded him to a paste, mixed it with the water of the ocean. Finding him not returning, Devayani again represented the matter to her father. Summoned again by the Brahmana with the aid of his science, Kacha appeared before his preceptor and his daughter and told everything what had happened. The demons killed Kacha for the third time, but this time burnt his body, reducing it to ashes. The demons then gave those ashes to their preceptor Shukracharya, mixing it with his wine. Again, disturbed by his disappearance, Devayani approached her father. Shukracharya, however, was reluctant this time. He said it was impossible to keep him alive because every time Kacha was revived, he was again killed, and that will continue. Devayani did not listen and wanted Kacha back at any cost. Shukracharya, thus urged by Devayani, began to summon Kacha, who had entered the jaws of death. But Kacha, summoned with the aid of science, feebly replied from within the stomach of his preceptor. Surprised at this, Shukracharya learned all that had happened, and he then made a famous curse that anyone who drinks wine would be destroyed. Being repeatedly nagged by Devayani, there was no other way left than imparting the science of reviving the dead to Kacha in the stomach, so that after he rips open his stomach, he shall use that science and in turn revive Shukracharya. Shukracharya then imparted the knowledge to Kacha in the stomach. Kacha came out ripping and killing the preceptor, and then used the knowledge to revive Shukracharya. Kacha, having completed his stay with his guru for a full 1,000 years, now prepared to return to the abode of the celestials. Devayani, who had her mind set on Kacha, was not happy with this decision. She approached Kacha and proposed that he marry her. However, knowing that such a marriage with the guru's daughter is against scriptural injunctions, Kacha refused her proposal. He then tried to convince her not to think in that way, as their relationship is that of a brother and sister. According to the scriptures, the guru is like the father and the guru's wife is like a mother. Guru Patni Mataraha Smrita. Guru's daughter will therefore be considered as a sister. Not wanting to hear Kacha's advice, Devayani became furious at once and cursed Kacha that his knowledge of reviving the dead shall not bear fruit. Kacha counter-cursed Devayani that no Brahmana will accept her in marriage because she acted under the influence of passion and not out of a sense of duty. Kacha then went to the demigods and, after receiving due respect, told them all what had occurred. The demigods, headed by Brihaspati, suggested that even the curse of a Brahmana can be counteracted with the blessings of mother cow. Cows are considered to be another form of Brahmanas. Demigods advised Kacha to serve the cows and counteract the curse. Thereafter, Kacha first of all circumambulated the cow. It is said, Gam pradakshini krita tena sapta dvipa vasundhara, meaning that circumambulating the cow is equal to circumambulating the whole earth. Brihat Parashara Samhita 525. He then served the cow and chanted the Mrita Sanjeevini mantras in her ear. Being pleased with Kacha's service, Mother Cow blessed him that his knowledge shall bear fruit. Kacha then used the knowledge to serve the demigods. Thus ends the story of Kacha reviving his knowledge with the help of Mother Cow. This history is usually played in a traditional folk art called Yakshagana in South India. From this we can understand the power and auspicious influence of serving Mother Cow. Derived from Mahabharata Adi Parva Sambhava Parva 76. Okay, one more story. Kartavirya Arjuna steals Jamadagni's cow. This is basically the reason why Parashuram appears. Long ago, a great sage called Jamadagni lived in the forest in a hermitage. He was the father of Parashuram. Lord Parashuram was none other than the Supreme Lord's incarnation. During the same time, there lived a king of great fame, Kartavirya Arjuna. Once, sage Jamadagni was visited by King Kartavirya Arjuna and his army who happened to pass the forest. Sage Jamadagni welcomed him. With the help of the wish-fulfilling cow, Kamadhenu, the sage, who lived in a poor hermitage in the midst of a forest with no facilities, could feed the whole army sumptuously with a great feast. This was extremely astonishing to the king and his army. The astonished king Kartavirya Arjuna requested the sage to gift him the cow through which he could serve the whole population in his kingdom. Sage Jamadagni refused this proposal because the cow was providing him with all the ingredients required for regular performance of yajna and was helping him to follow the vows of charity. Disappointed, yet insistent, the king tried to convince the sage repeatedly. However, Jamadagni did not give up. Kartavirya Arjuna became furious over this, and Jamadagni ordered his soldiers to drag the cow and take it to his palace. The greatly powerful son of Jamadagni, Shri Parashuram, came home and learned from his father all that had occurred. Feeling great resentment over the cow's cries, Lord Parashurama rushed towards Kartavirya Arjuna and immediately overpowered him. The Lord cut his 1,000 thunderbolt-like hands and finally killed him. The Lord returned to his home and then left for performing austerities. Meanwhile, the enraged kinsmen of Kartavirya Arjuna, it was actually his Kartavirya Arjuna's sons, attacked sage Jamadagni's hermitage. At that time, the sage was sitting in penance and chose not to counteract, although immensely powerful with merits obtained from austerities. The kinsmen easily beheaded the sage and returned. Renuka, the wife of Jamadagni and Lord Parashurama's mother, horrified by the whole incident, screamed for her son. Hearing this, the Lord came at once to the rescue of his mother and heard from her what had happened. The Lord then decided that Mother Earth has to be ridden of the unwanted and corrupt leaders of the world. In fact, almost all the leaders were so. So he decided to not end only Kartavirya Arjuna's clan, but to go around the whole world and slay leaders intoxicated with pride and taken to the path of demoniac activities. Thus Parashurama with his axe commenced the great mission of traversing the earth 21 times and getting Mother Earth rid of corrupt leaders. The Lord created 5 lakes of blood at a place called Samanta Panchaka. The Lord then donated the whole earth thus conquered by him to Kashyapa Muni. He then retired at the Sahyadri mountains after creating a unique place called Parashurama Kshetra, a reclaimed land from the ocean now located as the belt of southern Karnataka, where the famous place Udupi is located, including some parts of Kerala. Thus ends the story of how Kamadhenu became an instrument for the Lord's pastimes. The incident also illustrates how disrespecting the cow brings inauspiciousness to all. Derived from Mahabharata, Shanti Parva, Rajadharmanushasana Parva 50. Any questions? Huh? No, yeah, this is the only copy. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, it's a very interesting book. I thought we'd read this because actually most devotees in the movement, they know cow is sacred or cow is like dear to Krishna, but there's so much in Vedic scripture about what the cow can and how important the cow is. Just like we see here, the curse of a brahmana can get counteracted by worshipping the cow. Very significant. Very significant. We can pray to the cow to forgive us for so many of the offenses that we are committing and things like this, and you can worship the cow. And therefore, if there's a cow, farm. I mean, it's very common in Indian culture that people go in the morning, they will see the cow, they offer obeisances, circumambulate the cow, touch it to its head, feed it a little grass. And they know that they will get a lot of blessings from worshipping the cow. Yes.
I think it's like an interesting concept that the cow's worship to that level, because it is at the end of the day a conditioned soul within that vessel, right?
Yes.
Although it's so dear to Krishna, that's
Yes.
obviously why, but it's interesting that, it is a conditioned soul at the end of the day.
So are brahmanas.
Yeah, like that.
They're worshipped. Krishna wants them to be worshipped because they're dear to him. And this is Vedic culture. And we see that when cows are worshipped like that and treated like that, they reciprocate in the way. Same thing. When qualified brahmanas are respected and worshipped, reciprocation is there. You will see the Brahmanical qualities from qualified. Otherwise, the brahmanas, one cannot appreciate their existence. But when you actually worship qualified brahmanas and you protect Brahmanical culture, you will see the benefits of that Brahmanical culture. You will see the benefits of Brahmanical guidance. But what we see today is that even within our society, brahmanas, they're not really brahmanas, and brahmanas aren't really respected that much either. And same thing with cows. Cows are ultimately, at best, they are treated a little bit like luxurious pets. They're not worshipped. And why I'm saying this is because when I went to Toronto, it was a really wake-up call for me when I saw how this devotee was worshipping the cow. His whole life was dedicated. He would go, he would touch it, everything about the cow was sacred to him. Everything about the cow was offerable and obeisance, and it constantly reminded him of Krishna. And I see he's flourishing. Materially, especially, I can see it. Spiritually, I'm there for some time, and it was very impressive to see as he gets blessings. And the cows reciprocate like that. The bulls are reciprocating. I've never seen someone who can go and touch the balls of a bull like that and not be attacked.
In Toronto.
Yes, sir. He goes and pulls on it. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? It's like, because you can't even go near it. You cannot go near an actual bull that easily. And even the caretakers have to be careful. It's a bull. It's not ox. Bull. They're huge. And he said, just see what I will do to them. He goes and slaps them on the face. Slaps like this and slaps like that. Poop, 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 poop. I was like, what do you do? And its horns are this big. You can push its horn, you push it right through your stomach. It'll come out. I've not seen, and this is the same gear cow, same gear bull I've seen in other places. I had this realization when I was there. When one really worships Brahminical cultures and cows, they reciprocate. They reciprocate when they're qualified, and cows are qualified because they're cows. And yes, they're conditioned souls, but they become via medium. Just like true brahmanas, they become via medium of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They become representatives. When a brahmana utters something, and when a brahmana becomes pleased and blesses and gives blessings, that will become true because they are the via medium of Krishna to fulfill his purpose in this world. Okay. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. So if we start on time, we can
Hare
end on
Krishna,
time.
everyone.
Otherwise,
See you
we'll
later.
start 5 minutes late and end 5 minutes late.